Remember the times when all we got in a new patch was just a battle pass and a few skins? Yeah, some of that remained the same, but outside of that, it seems like League is really going in a good direction. And if they stay on this thematic course, maybe that infamous quote was not an over-exaggeration. But here we are in a new era that is finally doing something new with League of Legends. It all started with a great new cinematic, with the game getting a new great facelift, and overall, dare I say, things are looking good. Who would have thought that 2 years ago? And well, since the big Noxian theme is launching right now, we also got a new dev update video that summarized it all, but also it reveals some new things, which include things that made me lose it. In a good way, and in a really bad way. God damn it! So let's jump into it. As always, it all begins with Pabro and Medlar jumping in, as they quickly recap the big changes. Mainly, League will now have 3 seasons per year, with the first one being all about Noxus. This includes new Summoner's Rift art, music, structures, and new objectives. Atakan is a new epic monster that spawns near the bottom or the top, randomly, and he has different forms based on how many kills happened in a game. Of course, we already talked about all of this in a previous video. So yes, there are also the new Feats of Strength, which is a new system that allows you to upgrade boots after getting objectives. There are new runes, new items, teleport is not instant transportation anymore. And again, all of that should be live right now. But remember that even though we are getting 3 seasons per year, there will be only one ranked reset, which will happen right now. This means that when this is live, when you log in, you'll see the home screen will look different. That's because Riot just tried to simplify everything. They already did a pretty good job with simplifying the battle pass and stuff like that, so now things should be a lot cleaner. Now, when it comes to the structure of the seasons, every season will have 8 different patches, and it will be split into 2 acts, where each act has a separate battle pass. And as we know, the battle passes will have thematic skins, borders, icons, stuff like that. And since this should be happening every season, again, just a reminder, we did just get a Season 1 cinematic, so it is possible there will be also a Season 2 cinematic and a Season 3. And since everything is being connected together, whatever is gonna be the Season 2 cinematic, Season 2 will have its own battle passes, and there everything will be themed around that cinematic again. It sounds complex when I spit all of this out like that, but honestly, it is cool to see that League of Legends feels unified again. It's like things are actually happening. If only we also got some written lore together with that. Anyway, it was hinted that the plan is that every season will also have its own new champion. And as many people expected, even though it was never teased, yes, in Season 1, we are getting Mel. Here, Medlar confirmed that lore-wise, Mel just arrived at the shores of Noxus, and here she would be tested by the different noble houses of Noxus. So you know how in the cinematic we talked about how it's possible that the Noxtora had the different families on it? Yeah, it's possible now. Anyway, as you can see, Mel herself is shown here with an entirely new model. But also you can see Elise representing House Kythera. There is a Vladimir of the Crimson Cult. There is Katarina from House Dukuto, even though she is technically allied with Swain, not the Black Rose. And there is a quick teaser of a new model for LeBlanc. But that is a spoiler for now. We'll dive into that one in a second. More importantly, yes, there is also Mordekaiser behind all of them. Now yes, I talked about Mordekaiser too many times in the last month, but this makes it seem like that one video I made is gonna be relevant even more. Anyway, going back to Mel, you can see that she looks different. And that's because her new clothes reflect her Noxian heritage. And since every new champion needs something special to stand apart at least a little bit, Mel is getting a whole new mechanic which the team apparently wanted to make for about 3 years now. And that is projectile reflection. You see, it was confirmed that her kit was co-developed between the team of League and Arcane. Simply said, when League pitched something, Arcane would put it into the show, and when Arcane got an idea, League would make sense of it gameplay-wise. Together, they figured out how to make Mel reflect projectiles back to the source. In the video, they even showed that if Braum, Yasuo or Samira can block it, then Mel should be able to reflect it. Now in this video, you can see that Mel is only shielding herself, but for example from Arcane we know that she might be more of a support character helping others. So who knows, maybe we are getting a new Morgana in bot lane, except now she's gonna be reflecting the spells for her AD carry. Anyway, this should also work for both skill shots and targeted abilities, where even if you move, the skill shots gets fired back to your current position. And lastly, yes, Mel's lore will also be expanded in the upcoming Ambessa book, which should come out in February. Now here's the thing, I know it is a massive book that's just a lot of lore, but I didn't even cover the Ruination book because it was so massive. What am I supposed to do now? I guess I can do like a quick review or something. Now, to celebrate the Noxian season, it was also confirmed that Mel will be available for free to everyone just for completing a mission. Which totally makes sense. You know why? Well, it's because it was confirmed that champions actually don't make Riot any money. Yeah, releasing a new champion does nothing, because most people just own everything and they have too much blue essence or whatever you use these days. And so with Riot putting out the champion for free to everyone, they don't lose anything. Except the ban rate is gonna be really high because everyone will want to play her. But when it comes to the base gameplay things, that's pretty much it. So next, we go to the creative team. That being Chad and Bryce. Here they assure us that they love the world of League of Legends and they acknowledge the lore. See, I told you we are not a second-class citizen, and so everything that is happening around League of Legends should reflect that. As the seasons go on, in-game as well as outside of the game, there should be more and more thematic expressions. So for example, we might get new Reckoning Pits heading to Arena. Again, that is a spoiler for game modes, we'll get into that in a second. But also there will be comics and minigames. In fact, things should be similar to what we've seen with someone like Aurora. Aurora got introduced in a really unique way, people really liked it and Riot noticed that. However, in Act 2 of the Noxian season, apparently we will also get a new, unique kind of a minigame. We are not really sure what that is, but if it has anything to do with lore, I'm all in. After which, continuing on the expressions of the theme, they also talk about LeBlanc. Now yes, at this point it was obvious that LeBlanc was highly likely to get a VGU. But here they confirmed that LeBlanc was chosen to get a VGU because it made sense thematically. Again, depending on what's happening in League of Legends, they wanna tie everything together around it. And going forward, it is highly likely this is how updates will work. In other words, every time a new theme for a season gets revealed, people are gonna go wild over the possible ASUs. Speaking of which, even though yes, it is technically called a LeBlanc VGU, it was confirmed it is more of an ASU. Which means LeBlanc will get new visuals and just very minimal changes to her gameplay. And it seems like, yes, we might get more of those throughout the seasons. After which, we also get a really interesting piece of information. Apparently, the seasons don't have to be based only on Runeterra. In other words, it is possible we might also go outside of the canonical lore. Specifically, they said that the first year, which means 2025, should focus only on Runeterra, but going forward, we might be getting into alternative universes. Meaning, we might get something like the season of Project, followed by Battlecast, or something like that. Which, I'm just curious to see how that's gonna work. Not in a bad way, I'm genuinely just interested. I would rather stick closer to Runeterra because I like how the story is getting developed. And you can feel it in the numbers around League of Legends. You can see that people are getting more and more excited for this universe. So once you dive into an alternative universe, I wanna see how that affects it. Which is where, in this video, they also joke about bees. A lot of bees. They joke about it to such a degree that we have no idea if there is gonna be a bee season or something like that. Although they did pretty much confirm there is gonna be a Queen Bee Syndra skin. Anyway, ultimately, their goal is to tie everything together, but they are aware of the big weight that is attached to this. They mentioned that with Mel, they are getting 170 champions in the game. And they know they can't fit all of them into a season. And they would rather go deeper into the narrative of a season with just a few champions, rather than spreading it around thin across all the champions. And yes, I agree with them now. I mean, this is what they tried during the Ruination. Ruination had a lot of champions and it was just all over the place, which was really cool at first. But then you started noticing the holes and how there is a lot of things that didn't make sense. So you know what? It is cool to see them actually address this in this video. So yes, even if next we get something like a Demacian theme or something like that, sure, it may contain some core champions, but just don't expect everyone to appear everywhere. It would not make sense for them to do that because it would be extremely difficult. But yeah, with all of this said, seasons still look very promising with everything they want to achieve. But we are not done yet, because these artistic expressions will come back at the end of this video when we get to game modes. But before we get to that, first we are diving into cosmetics, which throughout the last few months have been on quite a wild ride. Now first, during the video, as it transitions into the skin section, you can actually see an update to one of LeBlanc's skins. It's the one with the top hat, and I forgot the name of it. But hey, it's a top hat, I like it. And so we get to Steph and Tom to talk about skins, where they are ready to talk about the new Champion First philosophy. This is something they announced roughly half a year ago. And so far, it seems to work well. So they start by quickly recapping the new thematic skins we are getting in the first act of the season, but they also mention why some of these champions didn't appear in the cinematic. They say that these champion skins are champions who would attend if they got invited, so it was really a thematic decision to look for champions that fit this and then just make skins for them. But I actually have a slight problem with that. I thought that all of these skins were canonical, as in champions like Ezreal and Renata actually got invited into this Black Rose party. So are you now saying that that was completely made up? Because we all thought that they did get canonically invited and they just didn't accept. It would make sense for their stories, and there is no reason for this to not be canonical. So Riot, please, I would like to get some clarification on that. But actually, the team should take this as a compliment. If their goal was to make up a new skin that would fit this thematic, then they succeeded because these champions fit it perfectly. Even if these skins show us what would happen if they accept it, and they didn't accept canonically. So hey, great job, just take this to the narrative team and please lock it in. It's just really cool. Now next, they quickly go through the skin acquisitions. Elise was confirmed to be from the free pass, the rest will be earnable from the paid pass, with Katarina being the main prize of the paid pass too. After which they also talk about prestige skins. First, they confirmed that in Season 1, Darius and Katarina are getting a prestige skin, which means that in Act 2, Darius is likely getting a new Noxian-themed skin, and Cassiopeia and Kiana are getting prestige skins available for Mythic Essence, which means Kiana is likely getting a new skin that is not around the Noxian theme. And going forward, it was confirmed that the team wants to entirely separate the prestige skins from the base skins. In the past, they had an issue with prestige skins just looking like a copy-pasted skin. And yes, I made too many videos about that. So now, they are just separating it. But they are still figuring out what to do with the prestige thematic. Right now, they have 3 different options. They can focus purely on the prestige thematic with only hints of the base skins, or they could go wild on the base theme and just make it really fancy. This is what they did with Katarina. Katarina is technically part of the base Noxian theme, but it is a lot fancier version of the other skins. However, the issue here is that it really fits this theme. They could make Katarina's skin fancy because it is at a dance party. The moment you take this theme away, maybe the prestige skins wouldn't work that well. And lastly, the team can also try to mix both together. Personally, I would like to see just more fancier versions of the base themes, just like what they did with Katarina, but again, the quality may vary depending on the theme. But of course, themes is not the only thing we are getting in these seasons. We will be also getting skins outside of the main lore. For example, Cafe Cuties are returning, and I do believe they are dropping on PBE, so Skin Spotlights probably already showed them somewhere, I guess. But there will be also completely new thematics, And the teaser we got is a hot dog Nafiri. I am pretty sure this is gonna be up for April Fools. And keep in mind that all of these skins are already being developed with the champion first idea. Meaning that they have a look at the champions and they think what skins we could make for them, rather than creating a skin line and then trying to figure out what champions even fit it. They were going for this ever since the Attorney Azir skin. And I have to say, this philosophy works. And for April Fools, we are also getting another new skin. This time, it is a legendary. And it is a legendary skin that should pay off the deep lore of Shaco, as they say. With the joke being that Shaco has no lore. Like, literally. Anyway, they keep emphasizing that Shaco is cats. As in, multiple cats. So maybe it is actually multiple cats in a suit? Also, he will be throwing boxes around, and cats like to sit in those. On top of that, they also mentioned that the writer's personal cats actually acted as voice actors. So I hope Shaco will not have a single voice line and it will only be meowing. I really wanna see that. Next, when it comes to ranked skins, even though there is only one ranked reset, it was confirmed we are still getting 3 victorious skins, 1 per season. And the victorious theme still remains the same, it will not be tied to the seasonal themes. After which we get to our favorite topic of this video. Exalted skins. Yes, this was the hot topic when it comes to cosmetics around League of Legends lately. And while we already know that Set is the next Exalted skin in line for the great gacha gods, Riot already teased the next one after that. So next we are getting Mordekaiser. And as they say, we were given just a little hint.
We do want to share that it'll be Mordekaiser. For now, we'll leave you just with a little hint. He's going to be coming to the Rift in a way that Runeterra hasn't seen in like a bajillion years.
Oh really? A bajillion years? Are we sure about that? Or are we talking about maybe roughly like 1,500 years? Roughly around that era maybe? Because yeah, I am pretty sure we are getting Sun Uzal, which is Mordekaiser when he was still a human barbarian warlord. And that only means one thing. I'm fucked. Look, I made too many videos about Mordekaiser this month alone. Like, can you tell I like that character? And here's the thing, I don't wanna support the Exalted gacha machine, but I do wanna support them making these kinds of skins. We have always wanted more lore skins. And do you know what Sun Uzal looks like? This is his original design from Legends of Runeterra. That looks awesome. I'm just really getting ready for the fact that League of Legends will ultimately redesign it somehow and it will not be as cool and I will be highly disappointed. But yes, this is still a paid lore skins that I am excited about. God damn it! So I don't know what I'm gonna do. They got me. They just got me. So very quickly, let's get away from that. It looks good, it sounds good. Let's just get away. So next we get into our favorite topic, Esports. So we go to Chris and Waylon. And here we immediately... Well, one of us has to change. Anyway, because I'm not that knowledgeable on esports, let's just very quickly go through all of this. First of all, Fearless Draft is a thing now. Basically, the same champion cannot be played multiple times in a series. Which might suck for the teams, because now it's gonna be harder to play. But for the audience, this is likely gonna be a blast. Next, we can mention that MSI is gonna be in Canada this year, and World will happen in China. And also, they talked about what's gonna happen in 26 and 27. So 26 MSI is in Korea, with the Worlds of 2026 going back to the USA, and 27 will have MSI in Europe and Worlds in Korea. But to me, that's kinda it. So now back to League and game modes. A cool new thing we learned here is that starting next patch, every season will always have at least one game mode up besides just Summoner's Rift and ARAM. So, in Act 1 we are getting all random Earth, and Arena is coming back for Act 2. Now, while thematically this absolutely makes sense for Noxus, I will still say this was a surprise. Because according to the numbers, the second and the third run of Arena were fine, but they weren't anything just massive when it comes to League of Legends. So I did think that Arena would be just ditched, but hey, it's back again. And so now there is gonna be a new Reckoning Pit as one of the arenas. And while they are ditching cameos as the main mechanic of Arena, there is now gonna be a new voting where players will be able to vote on how the games will be affected. I am pretty sure they are just borrowing the voting system from TFT. Which means, yep, there is even more randomized roguelikeness in this game mode. And that is kinda it for this video. Of course, there will be also new balancing and changes constantly, as it always happens. And the team is looking for feedback on how they are dealing with seasons, because at the end of the day, this is a big change to League of Legends. Lastly, we got a teaser for where we are heading in Season 2. And the teaser is, it's something very different from Noxus. So if you don't like Noxus, don't worry. But at the same time, it's very vague and we have no idea where we're going. And that is what we really got from the dev video, which is quite a lot of things. Seasons, so far, look really good. The way they are handling cosmetics, maybe besides Exalted skins, is good too. I actually like the thematic battle passes. And with the new Summoner's Rift and new game modes and just everything always teaming up together to make something good, hey! Maybe that quote was actually right. Maybe League did change forever, and it will change forever in 2025. I just didn't think it would change into a gacha game.